inside Rupp Arena here in Lexington, Kentucky on a Friday night. The Wildcats back in front of the home faithful, taking on the undefeated Ohio squad out of the MAC Conference. Welcome everybody. He is Mark Wise and I am Mike Morgan. It is great to be with you. Mark, we talk about this Kentucky team, and it's really kind of had a facelift overall personnel. A lot of newcomers, both via transfer and, of course, some talented freshmen. But it's really what stands out the most is they have one of the most dynamic duos emerging in all of college basketball.
Yeah, they say in baseball you want to be good up the middle. Well, you want to be good up the middle in basketball as well, and that starts with your point guard and your post player. For Kentucky, Xavier Wheeler is a true point guard, plays with great pace, leads the country in assists per game, and in his last two, his assist to turnover ratio is off the charts. Speaking of off the charts, take a look at Oscar Tshiebwe's numbers. He leads the planet in rebounds per game and has become an offensive option. Tshiebwe, Mike, is not just winning block to block, he is dominating.
He's putting up numbers the likes that we haven't seen in these parts, and since Dan Issel was getting it done for Big Blue Nation. That is saying a mouthful if you know the history of Kentucky basketball. Meanwhile, this Ohio team comes in 3-0, already a quality win over Belmont. And don't forget, last season they upset the number 4 seed Virginia Cavaliers. First meeting between these two schools since 1994. Kentucky leads all time 14-1. Anthony Jordan, Patrick Evans, and Jason Baker are our officials. We are underway from Rupp Arena, Kentucky in white, Ohio in green. Brooks, right of the lane, takes it inside, pulls up from 15, and gets the friendly bounce. Keon Brooks, now in his junior season out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, one of the veterans on this squad. You'll see a lot of new faces if you haven't already seen Kentucky play this year.
And this is a Ohio team that will live and die at the three-point line.
Nearly half of the field goals for Ohio this year have been from behind the arc. And that'll be a foul on Tshiebwe.
And that's one of the challenges in this game, is that Tshiebwe is going to have to guard out on the perimeter because Ohio's two bigs, Vanderplas and Carter, will occupy spots out at the arc.
Bobcats looking for a three. There's the first one fired up, and there's the first make. That's Jason Carter, one of the oldest players in college basketball at 23, his second stint with the Bobcats.
Mike, I was here 2 weeks ago for the exhibition against Miles when the visitors from Birmingham made 11 three balls in the first half.
Gave him a little scare, didn't they? As a foul, offensive foul, and that's on Tshiebwe, no bucket. And the second foul already on Tshiebwe, who for the most part has avoided foul trouble. This is a nightmare scenario for Kentucky.
Take another look. Off the dribble handoff. Tshiebwe, that's a good call.
Yeah.
He leans in. That's an illegal screen. Good call by Patrick Evans. And you and I had talked today. What happens when Oscar goes out of the game? Well, we're about to find out.
Well, you'll notice right away they become a lot smaller and a lot thinner. There's an easy path to the basket. That's Mark Sears, the reigning MAC player of the week, taking advantage of the path.
We have got a great game within the game at the point guard position today between Sears and Wheeler. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, a couple of Bulldogs manning the point guard spot. Here's Wheeler working on Sears. Finds Washington in the corner. 10 to shoot. Brooks had it blocked. Picked up by Washington. Weaving. Misses, no. Follow up, yes. Ty Washington, the most heralded of this talented freshman class.
And if Kentucky will have trouble guarding Ohio on the arc, Ohio will have trouble with Kentucky block to block on the offensive glass.
Exciting opening 2 minutes of this game. Strong take, body, foul, and the basket. An and one right off the bat. And a chance for a three-point play. That's Miles Brown.
Take another look on the drive by Brown. I thought Collins was pretty vertical there. I'm not sure. I think that's a play on.
Yeah. I don't know what more you can do there if you're Damian Collins. The arms appear to have stayed up. And Brown, the junior from Rochester, New York, will short arm the free throw. Rebound Brooks. 3-point lead for the Bobcats. What do we look for out of Ohio defensively?
They'll basically be man-to-man. They will mix in a little three-quarter press. They'll mix in a little 2-3. But their base defense is a solid man-to-man.
Washington fires up an oxygen ball. Ohio trying to take advantage on the other end.
Wow, you're using February terms on me already. I love it.
Try to get into form here on a late November clash before Thanksgiving. Good take to the basket and offensive rebound. Put back. Friendly bounce is good for Jason Carter.
That's just good stick-to-itiveness by Carter. Misses the first, but is active on the offensive glass.
Carter had 20 and 10 in that win over Belmont. That's the win that got a lot of people's attention, that Ohio could be good once again this year. Wheeler with a force. Here comes Sears. Sears into the waiting hands of Vanderplas, who's a big man with a three-point touch. Carter all the way to the basket. That's going to be a goaltend. Brooks got it on the way down. I don't think that ball was going to go in anyway, but bailing him out was Keon Brooks.
Take a look at Carter being active after this miss. Just staying with it. He gets the kind roll on the second try. Ohio in their last game, they were +10 in second chance points. So I like what the Bobcats are getting right now defensively.
Vanderplas just took it away from Brooks. It'll remain Kentucky basketball with 12 on the shot clock. Well, we thought this could be a very challenging opponent for Kentucky. Opening stanza has certainly proven that out.
I know Cal is one of those coaches that don't like to bring guys with 2 fouls in the first half. Boy, he'll be tempted, won't he, at some point in time?
Absolutely. Brooks on a 3. Back iron unkind. Rebound to Ohio, and then stolen away by Washington. The foul will go against Ohio.
As soon as Sears threw that ball to Brown, Brown had already turned to go up the floor. There's a good look at Jeff Bowles. He won't be pleased with that play, but he's certainly pleased with how his team has gotten out of the gate. And because there was a turnover in the back court, Kentucky actually inbounds the ball in front court with only 20 on the shot clock.
Washington weaves it over to Wheeler. Man-to-man defense by Ohio. Wheeler on a blow by and there's Brooks, top floor for the follow-up stuff.
You know Wheeler will want an assist on that play.
The nation's leader, 10 dimes a game. How often do you see, I know it's only been 3 games, Kentucky has the nation's leading assist man and the nation's leading rebounder. Baseline drive and a tough matchup so far. Jason Carter continues to have a big-time first stanza here in Lexington. Ohio up by 5. It's Carter, the 5th-year man out of Johnstown, Ohio. Mike Morgan, Mark Wise back with you at Rupp Arena. Ohio out to an early 5-point lead. What do we know about the Bobcats? Well, they're from the MAC, which traditionally has been one of the top 11-12 conferences out of the 32 in college basketball. Last year they win the MAC. They go to the NCAA tournament. They knock off Virginia as a number 13 seed in the opening round. They played a competitive game in the second round. This year they've already got off to a 3-0 start, including a win over Belmont and Robert Morris, an earlier Kentucky opponent. And they're led by Jeff Bowles, who's back home. He's a graduate of the school back in 1995. He played on a tournament team with Gary Trent. Remember Gary Trent, the Shack of the MAC, Mark Wise, one of my favorite nicknames of all time. So he couldn't be happier to be back to his alma mater. He knows the special culture that is Ohio basketball. They love the sport over there, about 3 hours away here from Lexington.
And the question entering this season, how are they going to be able to replace Jason Preston, their do-everything guard from a year ago, who averaged more than 16 points, more than 7 rebounds. He had 133 assists on the year? Well, here's how you answer that question. You have outstanding play by Mark Sears, who steps into that role. And then in the opener against Belmont, you make 16 threes.
That helps. That helps. And again, as you mentioned, they love the three ball. Half their shots are from three, and they shoot them at a good clip, 38%. Kentucky came into this game shooting extremely well. Off to a frigid start here so far, though. Hopkins in the game, missed that last one for Kentucky. Talented freshman who John Calipari really has high hopes for. Nice ball movement, sets up an open baseline jumper, but Carter can't hit it.
But I don't like what I'm seeing from Kentucky. They're getting lost defensively. That's a wide open look.
Wheeler all the way. Wheeler will go to the free throw line. Xavier Wheeler, the former Georgia Bulldog.
Here's the thing about Wheeler. He's going to go left. He knows he's going to go left. The opponents know he's going to go left, and guess what? He gets left repeatedly because he plays at different speeds. He's got a great hesitation dribble.
Wheeler knocks down the first free throw. Young man out of Houston, Texas. They want Xavier Wheeler to have an assist to turnover ratio 4-to-1.
Yeah.
It's not quite that good, but over 3-to-1 already. He's played some very crisp basketball. Had a little bit of a tough patch late in that Duke game, but other than that has been very sharp.
Good to see Kentucky, if you're a Kentucky fan, get to the free throw line. They're only getting there 9 times a game through the first 3.
And that's amazing, because if that's a staple of Coach Cal teams in the past, getting to the free throw line, dominating the glass. The glass part they've got intact. Brooks, that's going to be a walk. He just picked up his foot and didn't know where to go and what to do, and wound up turning it over.
One of the challenges for this Kentucky team, can you push the ball, look for early offense, but if it's not there, back it out. Run your half-court sets. You do not have to score in the first 8 seconds every possession.
Isn't it amazing already how different this team looks without Tshiebwe on the floor?
No question.
Tshiebwe.
Because with Tshiebwe, what do we talk about this Kentucky team? Toughness.
Right.
Okay. Well, the toughest guy on the floor,
he ain't there.
He's not there.
No, he's their dog. Coach Cal always talks about having a dog on the floor, or at least a couple of them. Shot clock down to 6 for Ohio. Sears all the way, rejected, but a foul first. A whistle was called from the baseline official. That's Patrick Evans, and the foul will go against Wheeler.
Mike, you've done games with me. I'm not a big fan of small guards. Why? You have to hide them defensively, and that'll be the challenge for Wheeler, because he's going to play a lot of minutes. So he's going to have to be, and this is Coach Cal's words, he's going to have to be disruptive on defense. And when he gets beat off the bounce, that breaks down the Kentucky defense.
A rare miss by Sears at the free throw line. 89% on the year. Now a 4-point lead for the Bobcats.
Mike, in some ways, I feel like Kentucky's fortunate to be down 4.
You're right. It feels like they've kind of been dominated in a couple of phases of the game. Nice rebound by Hopkins, and he'll go to the free throw line. Hopkins knifing in, 6'6" freshman forward out of Oak Park, Illinois. Coach Cal called him the surprise of the summer.
Yeah, he's got a tight end body, doesn't he? And with a guard skills, he's just active on the glass. And picking up a foul against Carter is important in response to Tshiebwe's foul issues.
Now coming up next, the Battle of the Peach State is back. Georgia Tech takes on Georgia at Stegman Coliseum. That's right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Talk about a lot of turnover, and that's really the story of college basketball this year, with all the transfers and all the attrition that's going on. But Coach Crean and company in Athens, that is a whole new roster.
Yeah, I was looking at that today. I was not aware that Georgia's won the last 5 in that series. Tech hasn't won that game since 2014.
Try to keep that streak alive when we wrap up here from Lexington. 2-point lead for the Bobcats from the MAC. Long 3 on the way and knocked down. Vanderplas, who came in shooting 40% from downtown, the 6'8" senior out of Wisconsin.
That's NBA and then some.
Preseason All-MAC performer, Ben Vanderplas. 3 on the other end. Left short that time by Grady.
Yeah, Roderick got caught looking at that rebound. Not the second one, though. Did you see him get back in there?
That was a couple of bricks fired up by UK. Came in shooting 45% from behind the arc. Great movement. Vanderplas. Skip pass into the corner. Sets up an open look. And that's knocked down. This is what Ohio does. They stretch. They fire threes. And right now they're hitting them.
McDay more than capable.
Wheeler on the other end with a quick response.
Nice hit by Wheeler.
Six-point lead for Ohio. Under 12.5 minutes to go, first half. Sears around the screen from Carter. Vanderplas with Brooks all the way out to guard him this time. Vanderplas takes him right to the rack. He started out 25 feet from the basket and got right to the bucket.
Aren't you impressed with Vanderplas and Carter's ability to beat their defender off the bounce?
Tough take, and he saved it. Nice job that time by Hopkins. Into the lane, no. Out of bounds. Ohio ball when we come back. 11:54 to go.
Big guys that are so versatile can be really difficult to guard. For Ohio, Ben Vanderplas, he can make threes from deep, but he can also beat you off the bounce and get all the way to the rack.
Rough start for Kentucky offensively, just 12 points. This is the breakdown so far this year of where the points have come from. If you know anything about a Coach Cal team, he loves those points in the paint. You look at that bottom number, 36% of their points have come on dunks and layups. Many of those have come from Tshiebwe, who's been saddled with 2 fouls. 3-point field goals, that's never been a major part of their offense, and so far, Mark, 0 for 6 from behind the arc.
Well, you have to remember that Tshiebwe alone gets 33% of Kentucky's misses. So he's gone from that equation. So where does Cal go for offense? I think he's got to look at Washington and Grady. He's going to need more from them, especially at the arc.
I look at this as kind of a teaching moment, because there are going to be several games in SEC play.
Good point.
Where Tshiebwe is going to be in foul trouble. And how do you respond, and who picks up the slack? And so far, Kentucky is still trying to find the answer.
Now here's a bigger lineup for Kentucky with Mintz at the point now.
Jumping jack Damian Collins in the game. Talented freshman.
Mismatch.
Open 3 on the way from the wing. Kicks off, and ripping away the rebound is Hopkins.
But you can see why Vanderplas averages more than 3 assists a game.
Washington on a stop and pop. Silky smooth on the jumper.
Don't you think we have a tug-of-war style-wise, because Kentucky wants to score in transition, Ohio wants to score in the half court? Absolutely.
I love it. Contrasting styles make for good fights, right? Got a good fight here so far with 11 minutes to go, first half.
Cal's put Hopkins on Vanderplas.
Vanderplas with an NBA fade and fire. Where did that come from?
My goodness.
Mintz, no. Rebound Bobcats.
See, the danger with early offense all the time is that you end up playing 5 seconds on offense and 20 on defense.
Quick trigger that time by Vanderplas. 8-point advantage for the Bobcats. Washington alley-oop pass, and there is Collins off his pogo stick. He is going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. The Southeastern Conference, the freshman out of Atlanta, Texas, Damian Collins.
There he is again, Vanderplas. Boy, wouldn't you like to play with him?
Absolutely. Tommy Schmock has had 2 wide open looks from 3. Speaking of which, that's what Hopkins got, and Hopkins tickles the twine on that one. It's a 3-point game.
Yeah, that's his first 3 ball as a Wildcat.
Crowd comes alive here at Rupp. Vanderplas. Banging bodies, and a foul called on Hopkins. Yeah, Vanderplas is a tough matchup.
Let's go back to this dunk. Watch the defender, Clayton. He gets caught in no man's land. He doesn't come out and show. He doesn't go back for the lob. As a result, that's the correct read. Take another look. It's 23 green. Excuse me. This is Hopkins in the drag off the three-point shot. His first as a Wildcat.
Tough shot in traffic. Jason Carter rattles it home.
Don't tell me Ohio doesn't run a little NBA. This is all isolation with Carter and Vanderplas.
Absolutely. That's all we need is a 24-second shot clock, and playing in a major city somewhere near you. Hopkins gets some applause as he goes to the bench. Quality minutes for the freshman. Brooks back in for Kentucky. Foul was on Schmock. Washington, the inbounder. And he turned it over. Carter read that one all the way.
See, that's freshman mistakes on two ends. The inbound pass wasn't crisp. Collins didn't really go get that ball.
5-point game. Backdoor cut, but erased by Ty Washington.
Got beat defensively, but made up for it.
Allen on a three. Allen, the hometown hero from downtown.
Know your role.
Carter, kick to the corner for an open three. Not that time. Long rebound, chased down by Washington. Washington lost it. A lot of dribbling. Coughed it up. Here comes Vanderplas.
Man advantage.
Inside, no. And the rebound to Kentucky. It's Mintz full throttle. Mintz. Everybody forgot about the man with the ball, Davion Mintz.
He wanted to pass.
Yes.
He said, Coach told me get feet in the paint and find a teammate.
And all of a sudden we're tied 24 all, under 8 minutes to play first half. Brown. Inside, strong take that time by Ben Roderick, who draws the foul on Collins. Exciting action here at Rupp Arena. 7:44 to go. We're tied at 24. Another big day of action on the gridiron on the SEC network. This Kentucky crowd, a lot of people came to town to see a double dip. Basketball tonight, football tomorrow against New Mexico State. You've got the #1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs also going at 12 o'clock. 4 o'clock it'll be Florida and Mizzou. Don't know what to make of the Gators right now. And then at 7:30, prime time, Vandy takes on Ole Miss. He's Mark Wise. Mike working with you at Rupp Arena. Entertaining game thus far between the Bobcats of Ohio and the Kentucky Wildcats. We should point out Kentucky again playing short-handed. They will be without the services tonight of Lance Ware. He's been battling an ankle. And then for another game, we're going to see no Jacob Toppin tonight. So you basically have a 9-man rotation, because the news earlier this week, C.J. Frederick will be out for the season. That was a 3-point specialist who was so good out of the University of Iowa. Puts a little more pressure on guys like Grady and Washington.
Yeah, he had two different issues, because he had a summer issue he was dealing with. Got over that, came back to practice, and that became a hamstring problem that got re-injured in practice, and thus the reason for the surgery.
So they lose one of the top shooters in all of college basketball.
Well, Kentucky is playing with fire, because they're just not covering shooters. That was a parade wave in terms of a challenge.
Inside Brooks, and he gets hammered. 2 free throws upcoming for the junior. First foul on Ben Roderick. Team foul number 5 on the Bobcats. Tie ball game once again, 25 all.
Brooks is one of those players who made an improvement in his free throw shooting from his freshman year, 63% to last year, 80%, and he's picked it back up at that pace.
This is the first lead for Kentucky since 2-0.
So this is a small lineup because Brooks is basically playing the 5-man.
Yeah, Hopkins basically playing the 4. Trying to take advantage that time. An air ball, though, by Carter. Here comes Washington gliding into front court. Finds Wheeler. Wheeler can't get it in. There to clean it up is Bryce Hopkins.
Boy, it is such a quick attack. You better sprint defensively when Kentucky's playing downhill.
Jeff Bowles, head coach of Ohio, told us #1 concern, transition defense.
This break started with Washington blocking Allen, the defensive end. Wheeler misses the gimme. But Hopkins, again, don't assume that your teammate's going to make every shot. I often say if you want to be a great offensive rebounder, don't take the picture, get in the picture.
He's been in the picture to the tune of 7 points, 6 rebounds. Tough take, pinball action, scooped up by Kentucky. 6 minutes remaining, Wildcats up by 3. Wheeler, little shake and bake, and then lost it. Got his pocket picked that time by Sears. Sears in the front court, and he's tripped up from behind by Wheeler. And Coach Cal immediately looks at Xavier Wheeler and says, no, take a seat. And that'll be the second foul on Wheeler as well. So that's 2 reasons to give Xavier Wheeler a breather here. His second foul. Tshiebwe has been on the bench for much of this first half with 2 fouls.
You know, we talked about being good up the middle in basketball with your point guard and your post man.
Right.
It's hard to be productive when you're on the bench.
Yes, it is. You've got the nation's leading assist man and rebounder both in foul trouble in the first half of this game, putting some added pressure on a number of the newcomers for Kentucky.
Big free throws there by Sears to kind of right the Ohio ship. They'd gotten a little wobbly.
And Sears was a great football player in high school at Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Quarterback and a defensive player. Steps that time by Keon Brooks. They want Keon Brooks to expand his game. That time, though, a little too much expansion.
Well, again, it's come so early in the possession. Take that move later in each possession.
You can get that whenever you want it. 7th turnover on the Wildcats. 5.5 to go.
If you don't reverse the basketball, you do not move the defense. My goodness.
I mean, Vanderplas is ripping nets from way downtown.
You see Hopkins look over at Cal and shrug his shoulders. Trust me, that's not going to work with Cal.
Yeah. What a half for Vanderplas, leading all scorers with 10. And then the response on the other end by Washington.
I love guards that play off 2 feet, that understand the floater game. Don't take it too far off the bounce.
Are you like me? Do you think by year's end Washington might be the leading scorer on this Kentucky team? Oh no, Brooks just fouled a 3-point shooter. You gotta let him land. Sears got the bump before he landed, and that's 3 free throws.
Let's take another look. As first offensively, there's playing off 2 feet. Great balance by Washington. And on the 3-point shot, see where Brooks lands. Yeah, that's a foul. That's obvious.
That's an easy one. I see that more in the college game and even at the NBA level now than ever, and I just don't understand it. There's ways to contest without fouling a 3-point shooter.
You never go at the angle of the shooter. You go at an angle beside the shooter, so that if he does fake or whatnot, then you're landing beside him and not on top of him.
Sears not a good guy to foul either. 89% from the charity stripe. Calmly buries all three. Ohio up by 3.
Mike, the good thing about Kentucky getting back kind of in the fight in the middle of the ring, Cal hasn't been tempted to play Tshiebwe.
Brooks. Keon Brooks loves that mid-range game.
Again, it's a simple play. And sometimes I think when you play at Kentucky, you feel like you have to make a home run play all the time. You don't.
That's 2 baseball analogies in the first half, Mark Wise. I see where your head's at. Inside, tough shot, twisting, contorting, and making the shot is Mark Sears. Replacing Jason Preston. Their point guard from a year ago was a second-round pick of the Clippers. Keon Brooks putting on a mid-range clinic.
See, there's no reason to put the ball on the deck and get out of control. If you allow Washington to read the defense, he's going to set you up.
It's target practice in this first half for Keon Brooks.
Did you see everybody jump out at Vanderplas there?
Oh my goodness! Vanderplas, who are you? 13 points to lead all scorers. He only averages 15. And none of them have been easy. I mean, these are deep, often contested threes. Washington, Euro step, gets the friendly bounce off the back iron.
But again, his balance, Mike, he went straight up and down.
See if they find Vanderplas again, number 5 in green.
Wouldn't you?
I would. I'd go ISO to him. Carter backing in on Mintz, now draws a double. 7 on the shot clock. Slicing, dicing, firing, back iron, no good for Sears. Here comes Kentucky. Washington.
Much better job. Probe, early offense, then ball reverse and execute.
Mintz on a reset, plenty of time on the shot clock. Around the screen from Brooks. Keon, he's got a size advantage, going to use it. That time he left it short.
Wasn't a bad look.
Nope, live with that. 2-point game. Ohio has led this game for most of the first half. Ohio 5-24 all time versus the SEC. Washington to Mintz. Davion Mintz, really the most steady player for Kentucky last year. Brooks, bullish in the paint, but lost it. Had it stripped away, and who else gets it but Vanderplas?
Thievery. That was just thievery.
Vanderplas on the other end. Just off the back iron. Long rebound into the hands of Kentucky. Here comes Washington ahead to Brooks. One-on-one and a foul. And a timeout on the floor. 1:31 to go first half. Bobcats up by a deuce.
Dari Noka, Patrick Young in studio with you. We'll see you coming up at the break. Auburn lost quarterback Bo Nix. Who knew that would impact the basketball team's ability to score? We'll show you. Tennessee, Villanova, big one you'll look ahead to on Saturday. But what do you see so far here?
Foul trouble,
yeah.
A lot of energy. Tshiebwe not on the court. Hopefully this team can pick it up.
Yeah, it's been an ugly first half for Big Blue, but we don't need to tell you all. See you soon.
Dari, Patrick, thank you so much. Yes, Tshiebwe playing 1 minute in this first half. He has been sorely missed on both ends. Ohio leads it by 2. How about the SEC in the top 25? Mark, you and I are in agreement. This is one of the deepest years we have seen for the Southeastern Conference. 6 ranked teams there, and what you don't see is LSU and Mississippi State knocking on the door.
You know, I hate talking about March Madness in November, but here's what I have said. I don't know that I see a Final Four team in the league just yet, but I see several teams capable of playing in the second weekend.
Yeah, well, of course, that would be the Sweet 16. I was just kind of rifling through some little nuggets and factoids. How about this one? This one is stronger than dog's breath, Mark Wise. The SEC has had at least one team advance to the Sweet 16 30 out of the last 31 tournaments.
Wow.
And I would be surprised this year if we don't see multiple SEC teams in the Sweet 16, to your point.
Kentucky really good at the line tonight, has not missed.
Now they've been the shooting numbers on Kentucky coming into this game: 49 from the field, 45 from three, and 82 from the line. Another three fired up by the Bobcats. Washington with the rebound ahead to Grady all the way into the corner. Mintz rise and fire three, and there's another foul on a three-point shot. This time it goes Kentucky's way.
Well, this is the same foul that was called on the other end. You must allow the shooter to land, and this will put Mintz to the free throw line for free throws number 9, 10, and 11 for Kentucky. Why is that important? Because in the first 3 games, the Cats have only averaged 9 free throw attempts,
which is well below the number Coach Cal would like to see, as Mintz knocks down the first free throw. It's Marty and McGee. It's every Saturday, and tomorrow it's in Tuscaloosa for the big game between Arkansas and Alabama. Our coverage starting at 9 a.m. Eastern time right here on the SEC Network. Mintz missing the second one. The former Creighton Blue Jay, who was so, I know last year everybody just wants to forget the season ever happened in Big Blue Nation, but amongst all of the things that did not go right, this young man went very right, and
yes,
I don't know where they would have been without him. I mean, it was tough with them, but he was awfully good for Kentucky, and great to have him back for another year.
Yeah, he led the team in assists. He's not really a point guard, and I think he's trying to figure out his role with this particular roster.
Nice pass inside, but blocked by Kentucky. Might have been Grady who got his hands on it from behind. Under a minute to go.
Excuse me, Mike. See Washington catch and evaluate before he put the ball in the deck. He just plays with a maturity.
Plays within himself. And wants to go to work on a long three there. So now Ohio, there's about a half a second differential, but essentially they could play for the final shot of the half.
Well, it's got to find Vanderplas, doesn't it?
I would think so. He's just flashed near the free throw line. Shot clock at 10.
Love the run and jump, though.
Sears gliding, firing, no. Vanderplas, no. Vanderplas again, no. Final shot, good if it goes. It does not. And Kentucky, without the services of the #1 rebounder in America for much of the first half, takes a 2-point lead into intermission. 40-38, our halftime score from Rupp Arena as we send you to the studio. Somewhat of a surprising score here in Lexington, Kentucky, with just a 2-point lead as we get ready for the second half, and welcome you back inside Rupp Arena. He is Mark Wise. I am Mike Morgan. The thing what we love about live sporting events is that you just never know, right? So what did we talk about at the top? We talked about Xavier Wheeler leading the nation in assists. Oscar Tshiebwe leading the nation in rebounding.
Right.
0 assists for Wheeler, 0 rebounds for Tshiebwe. But instead, Ohio got red hot with a guy named Vanderplas.
Well, Tshiebwe only played 65 seconds. Can he get himself going? Because they're going to need to get a handle on Vanderplas. He was basically unstoppable offensively, whether off the bounce or knocking down threes, setting up teammates. Kentucky did have a few bright moments, and basically they centered around Washington. Here he was a great assist man to Collins, and then in the break, UK got a little bounce with Dante Allen knocking down the 3-ball. But I think if you're John Calipari, you're excited to see your team play without Tshiebwe, not because he wants to see them play that way, but because it's going to happen from game to game.
Absolutely. He's a big man. It's college basketball. There are going to be games that he's in foul trouble. And overall, Kentucky continues to shoot the basketball fairly well. Not so much from behind the arc, but everywhere else. Washington was good. Brooks was good. We'll see if the defense can improve here in the second half. Ohio from the MAC in green, Kentucky in white. Strong take and the block out of bounds by Keon Brooks, who had a solid first half. One thing Kentucky did do well, even without Tshiebwe, they won the battle of the boards by 15. Vanderplas fades and fires from the baseline, and he picks up right where he left off. That's a game-high 15. I don't know where he's going to wind up playing, but he's going to wind up playing somewhere earning a paycheck, because he's got some game to him.
Kentucky awfully stagnant in this set.
Washington, that just bobbled out of bounds. He lost the handle, and an unforced error on the Wildcats, who only forced one turnover in that first half.
But you could see that coming. The offense had no movement. Just a bad way to start the second half.
What do you want
both ends of the floor?
Absolutely. What do you want to see of Kentucky in this second half with a full complement of players now?
Well, they have got to get a handle on Carter and Vanderplas, and specifically their ability to beat players off the bounce.
In the lane, again out of control, and that'll be a travel, giving it right back. And coughing it up is Miles Brown of Ohio.
Mike, you have heard me say this for a couple of years now. Ever how many dribbles you think you need as a player? Divide by 2.
Right.
Stop dribbling the ball so much.
Sometimes it is the most overused craft in basketball. Washington up top. Angles it in to Tshiebwe. Out to Brooks. Mid-range game continues to be effective, but that time around and out.
But that can be an effective high-low set for Kentucky.
Vanderplas hounded by Brooks. Another fade and fire. That one popped out. It was halfway down.
How did that not go in?
Washington drive and kick. Open three. No. Batted around into the hands of Wheeler. Washington too strong. Another offensive rebound.
Long rebounds, long shots, long rebounds. Guards have to get involved.
Xavier Wheeler. Off to Tshiebwe, who goes behind the back. Shot clock at 3. Wheeler inside. Tshiebwe fouled before the shot. Fouled on the floor by Ohio with 1 on the shot clock.
So many times we talk about offensive patience late in a possession. Defensively, lack of patience by Ohio on the reach in by Vanderplas. It's good awareness by Wheeler. How about that crafty little bounce pass up in the air?
Well, that's the two-man game that we've seen throughout the season for Kentucky. It's been a whole lot of screen and roll with Wheeler and Tshiebwe, but with both of them on the bench much of the half. You didn't see that in the first 20 minutes. Sears up top, weaving into the lane. And a good feed down low. Jason Carter on the business end of that assist.
Mike, I was just about to say, if I'm Ohio, I'm going back to Carter on Tshiebwe and taking advantage of that matchup. That's a travel.
Freshman mistake. Happy feet by Hopkins. 10th turnover on Kentucky.
Cal's running back and forth between Hopkins and Brooks, trying to find a consistent performer at that 4 position. Remember, no Toppin, no Ware tonight.
And I would also throw in another reminder that not all mid-majors are built the same. This is an Ohio team that knocked off number 4 seed Virginia last year in the tournament, that's used to winning and competing in a good league in the MAC. They didn't come here just so they could pop on the SEC network. They came here to win a basketball game. Good take that time by Wheeler.
The bottom line there is Vanderplas and Carter are going to give a lot of teams a lot of problems.
Sears Kick out pass, open three, off the mark. And Tshiebwe and Brooks fighting for the rebound. Give them each a half a rebound on that play. 16 minutes remaining. Ohio up by 2. Washington slashing. Missed it short. Brooks tapped it up. There's Tshiebwe. Mr. Rebound himself with another carom. Brooks, pull-up jumper. He has really worked on that aspect of his game. And boy, has it paid off tonight. 14 points for Brooks.
Yeah, he's been Mr. Mid-range, hasn't he?
Yep.
I just love the Tshiebwe rebound, though. He was immediately looking out to the arc.
He absolutely loves to rebound. That's so much of that art. Want to. He's got plenty of it. Vanderplas backing in on Brooks. One-on-one. Contact, no whistle. Gets it back. Contact again and gets it to go. Vanderplas with a game-high 17.
I thought he initiated the contact on the first one.
Yep.
I thought Tshiebwe got away with a foul on the
Yes.
second one.
5 minutes into the second half. It remains a close game here at Rupp Arena. Washington drive and dish. Brooks. Keon Brooks. One of the best shooting performances of his career, now with 16.
Well, they say that long two is not a very efficient shot. Brooks is proving them wrong.
Yes, he is.
See, this is the challenge for Tshiebwe.
Oh, Carter missed the dunk, though. He bubble-gummed it. Had a wide open path. Wheeler. Brooks again. Mid-range again. Yes! Timeout, Ohio. Mike Morgan, Mark Wise back here at Rupp Arena. 48-46, good game. Great crowd. I know you're going to hear this a lot the first couple months of the season. Mark, it is so good to have crowds back in college basketball. It is woven into the fabric of this game as much as any sport. And boy, is it a vast improvement from a year ago.
I'm happy for us who get to do and broadcast games with juice in the building.
Yes.
And I'm happy for the fans. But I'm most happy for the players who get to play with fans in the stands again.
Yeah, I mean, for these kids at Ohio, they're going to be talking about the fact that they played at Rupp Arena the rest of their lives. It's a lot better story when you can say you did it in front of 15 to 20,000 fans as opposed to 20% capacity.
Here's Cal smelling a little blood in the water going down the floor with some pressure.
Mark Sears will bring it into front court, the reigning MAC player of the week. This game has been closely contested for the better part of 25, 26 minutes. Tough left-handed shot off the window and in with a kiss. Jason Carter.
And Kentucky had gone back to small ball. Tshiebwe getting a break. So Keon Brooks is back to being the 5-man. I'm not sure this is a lineup Kentucky's practiced very much.
Carter, who started at Ohio, played 2 years at Xavier, now back where he felt the most comfortable with the Bobcats. Turnover on Kentucky and a timeout on the floor with 13:43 to play. We're tied 48 all. I hope they have half as much fun as we are tonight in Stegman Coliseum. 9 o'clock following our game. The Georgia Bulldogs riding a good winning streak against in-state rival Georgia Tech. Tom Crean and company trying to figure out what they have. They're one of those teams flying under the radar. There's 9 teams that have NCAA tournament written all over them in this conference. And then you're trying to figure out, well, what do the other 5 have? What does Georgia, Ole Miss, South Carolina, what do some of those other teams have?
We're going to use the phrase they've got a lot of newcomers, whether that be freshmen or transfers, a lot this season, not only in this league, but across the landscape of college basketball.
And one thing we've learned over time in this league, there's always that team that nobody has on their radar that winds up being a force. Full court pressure for Kentucky was a force there, forcing the turnover. Now you look at the preseason media poll. Again, those top 8 teams are just loaded in so many different ways. But I look at the next 4 or 5 teams, and I'm not sure if a lot of people are going to want to play them either. I think it's going to be a bounce-back year for South Carolina, and Ole Miss has one of the top freshmen in the league.
I think if you're in the top 7, you're going to be in the tournament.
Yep.
I think if you're number 8, you've got a really good shot. And number 9 will be on the bubble.
Right. It'll be another just jam-packed year for a league that's had 21 bids in the last 3 years. Keon Brooks is flirting with a new career high. He has 20. He had 23 against the Volunteers last year. He is well on his way.
Mid-range master.
Yes, he is.
Kentucky with this run and jump designed just to get the ball out of Sears' hands. Ohio, Mike, is a very connect-the dot offensive team. I think Cal wants to take them out of being so organized.
Tough shot. Great defense by Tshiebwe. Great footwork by the big man. Washington got hammered on the drive. McDay crossed him over the arm. And with 12:38 to go, Kentucky up by 2.
Individual defense. Create some space so that you have room to operate. That's what Tshiebwe does. Challenges a tough 2. And that leads to Washington leading the break. And he's just so, again, I've used this term, he's so mature with the ball.
Yeah. Mintz came a hot potato into the hands of Wheeler. Around the screen from Tshiebwe. Wheeler, crossover, floater, got it.
It's a tough 2, though. I think that's one, if you're Jeff Bowles, you can live with that.
Kentucky and the Kentucky faithful have been waiting on that big run. It all starts with defense, and they've amped it up here of late.
Somebody's going to have to take the ball out.
By rule, I think that you're absolutely right, Mark. They're having trouble getting it in. Wheeler hounding Sears. Sears. Back up top, Carter thought about it, but there's Tshiebwe right in his face. Shot clock to 5. Drive and kick. Here comes the 3. Left it short. Guess who got the rebound? Tshiebwe.
McDay had fumbled that ball.
Tshiebwe. Why not? Tshiebwe again. Tshiebwe pops out to Washington. Nothing but bottoms on the 3, and it's a 7-point lead for the Wildcats. Largest lead for Big Blue.
Tshiebwe starting to rack up the rebounds.
Carter, short. Washington on the board. Here comes Kentucky. Mintz racing. Mintz on the finish. Timeout called by Ohio. There's the run, and there's the electricity back at Rupp Arena.
Tshiebwe, Big O, Big Oscar working the offensive glass. Gets Kentucky going in this last possession. Wildcats on top at home.
Big celebration moment brought to you by the good folks at Allstate.
In transition, Mintz all the way to the rack. Brought the faithful here in Rupp Arena to their feet. Take another look, same finish.
Now, it took a while for Kentucky to ignite offensively, and it started with the defense. Some of that full court pressure, better job guarding the 2 bigs that have been so dangerous, Vander Plas and Jason Carter.
Mike, in the first half, I thought Ohio's offensive ball movement was better than Kentucky's defensive body movement. That has changed here in the first 9 minutes of the second frame.
Look, you keep bringing up one name in particular, and I'm right there with you. Ty Washington, we've seen a lot of great freshmen come through Lexington the last few years, but the composure, the maturity, I mean, he's sitting on 11 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. And it just does everything at such a calm pace.
He makes the game easier for everybody he plays with.
Can Ohio respond? Not that way. Tapped around into the hands of Mintz.
Mintz has done a nice job on the glass tonight. See, that's a much better job by Wheeler. He probed. He wanted early offense. It wasn't there.
Wheeler walked before the foul. Xavier Wheeler on the turnover. And Ohio will try to put an end to a 3-minute-plus scoring drought. Down by 9.
If you're an undersized guard, there's almost a force field, I think. Maybe 8-10 feet away from the rim. That's where you need to operate.
Yeah.
If you get too deep, there's nothing good for you down there.
Catch and fire 3. I'll tell you what, A.J. Clayton, the freshman out of Duncan Falls, Ohio, he got that pass, and within about a half a second, it was up for 3.
Man, if you play for the Bobcats, you come off the bench, you've got the green light.
Just stick them in the microwave and let them shoot. Washington on a stop and pop. Silky smooth.
Smooth, poised, doesn't get rattled.
The only recruit in the history of Kentucky basketball out of Arizona. He's out of Phoenix. They've got players from all kinds of states, 10 different countries, but finally landed one from Arizona. Washington gonna send that one back home to Arizona. Tie on the stuff.
I talked about better body movement defensively by Kentucky in the second half. That last possession, Mintz is what caused that turnover with the deflection. Take another look, the quick hands. That deflection led to the run out.
Another shot, another 3, another make for A.J. Clayton. Ohio's not going away that easy, not as long as they keep hitting threes.
Clayton now 5 of 10 from bonus land on the year, so he's more than capable.
Again, half of their makes this year are from behind the arc. Washington fouled and almost a chance at 3.
Mike, I talked about that force field. Washington understands that force field. He is so good in that floater game. 8 to 10 feet, plays off 2 feet. Kind of got an old soul game, if you will.
Great week 12 of SEC football lined up for you tomorrow. These Kentucky Wildcats, led by Mark Stoops, having another fine season, and they'll kick it off at noon. You've got Georgia, Charleston Southern, A&M, Prairie View, Mississippi State, Tennessee State, then Florida, Missouri. That'll be kind of an odd feel the way those teams have performed this year. And then Vanderbilt, Ole Miss for the nightcap. Of course, the week after, you've got all the rivalries going on, including Kentucky taking on Louisville. Kentucky has certainly enjoyed the upper hand in that matchup in recent years.
Too many dribbles.
And then a foul late, kind of a bailout foul, because Schmock was doing a whole lot of dribbling and wasn't finding a whole lot of openings to throw it. Xavier Wheeler just got tagged for his 3rd foul.
Well, if you're going to dribble, go somewhere. Here's Schmock again. Watch as he picks up his dribble. It just gets crowded. That's a cylinder foul against Kentucky.
Roderick into the hands of Brown. 7 on the shot clock for Brown. Working on Wheeler. Drive and kick. 3 on the way from Schmock. Air ball. Rebound Washington. Here's Mintz. Stops, rises, and misses it short.
I think Cal's okay with that, though. Mintz is feeling it a little bit, not because he's made a 3, but he's just gotten into the flow of the game. It's a wide open look. He got his feet set.
3 from Brown. Tshiebwe, top floor for another rebound. The nation's leading rebounder has 5 despite playing just a minute in the first half. Break zone here at Rupp. 9-point lead for Kentucky. Washington wheeling, dealing, got it! A chance at 3 the hard way for the sensational freshman, Ty Washington.
Credit Cal with the call from the bench. He recognized the mismatch, and Washington one-on-one creates his own look with a creative spin move, absorbs the contact, but look at him watch it all the way in.
Mike Morgan, Mark Wise here at Rupp Arena. Kentucky finally got that big run and leads by 11, 65-54. A lot of good contributions tonight, but it's been the freshman Ty Washington has really been the story in the second half. A new career high, 19 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. You know, Kentucky, which has a dynamite recruiting class coming in, our recruiting expert and analyst Paul Biancardi, always go for him from some of the nuggets and inside scoop. He had a great quote on Ty Washington, who he watched blossom as a senior in high school. He said once he makes all the adjustments to the speed, physicality, and the high-level defense needed at the college level, you will see his talent shine. Mark Wise, we are seeing Ty shine tonight.
Well, I said this earlier, he makes the game easier for everybody he plays with, and he just doesn't get rattled. I mean, I understand he had a tough shooting night in his debut against Duke. Guess what? A lot of players do.
Yeah, that's a little shock to the system in one of your first games at the collegiate level, going up against Duke at Madison Square Garden. Let's see if Ohio has a run left in them. This would be the guy. Oh, but that time no legs on the shot for Vanderplas. Missed everything. Washington from the logo. A double-double now for Ty. Brooks, mid-range game. Not that time. There's Tshiebwe. The ultimate reprieve for any shooter that's missing shots.
I call him a rebounding Pac-Man because he gobbles them up.
He gobbles up another, and then that sets up Brooks for another mid-range. He's got 22. His career high is 23. You have to wonder if Ohio, which is not a particularly deep team, if the legs are getting a little bit rubbery at this point. Vanderplas sets up an open 3 from the wing, that time, and a big one for Miles Brown, a junior out of Rochester, New York.
But again, Vanderplas is so good at finding teammates as a big guy. He could have shot the 3, great ball fake, found a more open teammate.
You know, they're predicting that Buffalo will win the MAC. I certainly would not count out this Ohio squad, which is picked second in that conference. Conference is the same one that produced one Nate Oates, who did a great job at Buffalo over the years, took them to 3 NCAA tournaments. Now, of course, shining at Alabama and doing a heck of a job with that program in Tuscaloosa.
Mintz has just been marvelous off the bench. He has given Kentucky a little lift in that 3-man spot.
Mintz knocks down the free throw. Young man out of Charlotte, North Carolina, started his career with Creighton. I mean, he really wasn't expected to play much last year because you had a glut of guards that they thought were going to perform better than they actually did. And then all of a sudden, Davion Mintz became kind of the leader of the offense for much of the season. They were wondering whether or not he would come back. He tested the NBA waters. Came back for another year, and what a luxury to have him off the bench.
This run and jump in the backcourt by the Kentucky coaching staff has kind of altered the way Ohio has played in the half court. Not because it's created a lot of steals, it has just it's been disruptive.
Shot clock under 5. Sears harassed by Wheeler. Got it off in time. Offensive rebound, Carter. Ball movement. Corner three on the way. No. Tshiebwe with the board. 8th rebound for Tshiebwe, the nation's leader in that category. Mintz pulls up from 15. Got it. That's the largest lead for Kentucky, 15 points.
Marvelous job of early offense. There's a difference between early offense and just driving to the rack or utilizing the whole floor.
Ohio has gone cold. Kentucky has heated up, and with under 5 to play, trying to add to a 15-point cushion.
Ohio is settling into a little 2-3 zone for the first time.
I thought we might see more of this, talking with Coach Bowles today at shoot-around. Brooks. Tshiebwe. Is there anybody that plays harder in college basketball than Oscar Tshiebwe?
Man, does he hunt rebounds.
Shot clock to 5 for Wheeler. Around the screen from Brooks. Wheeler tried to thread the needle to Washington, out of bounds with just 1 to shoot. And a timeout on the floor. 3:58 to play. Oscar Tshiebwe getting minutes in this second half and doing what he does best, gobbling up boards. He's Mark Wise. I'm Mike Morgan. Great to be with you on this Friday evening on the SEC Network, where Kentucky has come alive in this second half. 72-57 lead. The Wildcats trying to improve to 3-1 on the season. A new career high for the freshman Ty Washington. 20 points to go along with 10 rebounds and 5 assists. Every Saturday, Marty and McGee and SEC Nation bring you extensive SEC game previews that you won't find anywhere else. Tomorrow they'll be in Tuscaloosa for the big game between Arkansas and Alabama. Coverage starts at 9 a.m. Alabama seems to be on a collision course with Georgia for what should be an epic matchup in Atlanta in the first week of December. Just 1 on the shot clock. Time for a catch and shoot. That's about it. There's the catch, and did not get it off in time. And on top of everything else, it's a good thing when you shoot the lights out ordinarily. It's not a good thing when the lights go out while you're shooting.
I was about to say, that was shot in the dark.
You know it's really your night when you make a shot and the lights are out.
But did you see Cal say play?
Yeah.
One of the things I talked to him about today was the learning curve of last play to next play.
Right.
Making sure that whatever happens in the last play doesn't impact you on the next play.
Yeah, when you're up 15, you don't need to sweat it. If it's a 1-point game, there might be a slightly different reaction.
But Kentucky has just tagged shooters much better in the second frame.
Vander Plas, so good in the first half, has cooled off a little bit here in the latter part of the second half. Shot clock down to 7. Sears bobbled it, backing in, finds Carter. He walked. Carter took steps. That'll be a turnover.
But again, the activity of Tshiebwe on the closeout. Let me ask you this. If you had Tshiebwe running at you, would you be tempted to travel a little bit?
Oh, I think so. Sometimes you got to make a business decision. And if that means making a violation, you're okay with it. Brooks turns it over, gives it right back. Now, this has been a valiant effort by Ohio and head coach Jeff Bowles, who not only did Jeff Bowles play at Ohio, not only did he play in an NCAA tournament, he played against Kentucky, remembered fondly a matchup against the Wildcats, that 95-96 Patino National Championship team, one of the best teams I've ever seen. I said, well, how'd you do? And I had 6 turnovers. I was so nervous.
Wasn't that funny when he said that? You always remember the negative first when you go into coaching.
So true.
Oh, what a job by Wheeler.
Great hustle. Great hustle by Wheeler. I tell you, when you've got Wheeler and Tshiebwe, two of the keys to this team this year, and both hustling on every play, that's a good way to inspire the rest of these guys, particularly the younger guys on this team. That one rattles out. Tshiebwe, you're not going to out-muscle him for a rebound, folks. Into Brooks. Tshiebwe gets it back and finds his buddy Xavier Wheeler.
How about Tshiebwe with 10 second-half rebounds?
Long three by Mintz. And Washington throws it off a Carter out of bounds with 2:05 to go. Kentucky up 15 with the ball.
Watch this, Mike. Wheeler challenges the shot right there and then saves the ball in the corner. That is outstanding hustle for the junior.
Now, he led the league in assists last year at Georgia. Wanted to try his hand somewhere else. And it's been a good pickup for Kentucky thus far. Beautiful feed. Oh, Xavier Wheeler. The spin, the dime, and the bucket for Kentucky.
But notice Wheeler did not take that ball too far off the bounce.
Wheeler on the board. And Cal says pump the brakes with 90 seconds and counting. The Wildcats in control of this game now. Ohio made it interesting for a while. But Kentucky suffocating defense in the second half. Wheeler, Tshiebwe picked it up. And a career game for Ty Washington. Wheeler with the hoop and harm. He's not done yet.
So, Mike, why is that more important or a better decision by Wheeler? Because he had a mismatch on the perimeter. A couple of plays ago, this is Wheeler. Notice where he gave the ball up. He gave the ball up at the SEC logo. He did not go too far. Recognizes he has Carter on him, and just with the blow-by, takes the contact for the and one.
He's got a unique game because it's not just that he's undersized. We've seen undersized guards do very well in college basketball. He's not one of these guys, though, it's got like a 40-inch vertical leap. He's not the most explosive player. So he has to be crafty. And that's how I would describe his game, is he's incredibly crafty.
And here's Tshiebwe on the switch.
Wheeler, flat-footed rebound. He's got 6 boards to go along with 11 points, 4 assists. Xavier Wheeler. A great second half. Kentucky overall with a great second half. This was a 2-point game at intermission. Washington off the back iron. Mintz collects. Kentucky is going to improve to 3-1 on the year.
Had to work for it, though.
Yep. Alley-oop. You had 2 Kentucky players collide with one another, and then on the other end, Vanderplas with the flush. And on the other end, Keon Brooks is down, wincing in pain near the basket. And you just hope this is nothing more than a cramp.
Cal becomes assistant trainer.
And hopefully he will be all right. Such a key cog to this Kentucky team. What a great performance. One off his career high 22 points tonight for Keon Brooks. Kentucky will dribble out the clock. The Wildcats have outscored Ohio 37-21 in this second half. A lot to like about this Kentucky team in the final 20 minutes.
You're always learning about your team. So what did Cal learn tonight? He's learned how to play maybe a smaller lineup without Tshiebwe.
The Wildcats now 3-1 on the season, 77-59 your final score. For Mark Wise and our entire SEC Network crew, Mike Morgan saying so long from Rupp. Let's send it now to studio.
All right, guys, thank you very much. So that's what Patrick, I would assume you wanted to see in the second half from a Kentucky standpoint here. What switch was flipped at halftime?
Well, I'm curious what the message from Coach Cal was to his team there at the halftime, because Ty and Keon Brooks, they came out there with such great energy. It took just a few minutes before Kentucky came and did what Kentucky's going to do and run away with the game. But that was sensational. Great look for this team to go under some adversity and other players needing to step up, because the whole storyline has been Oscar Tshiebwe, because he has been sensational. He still came away with 10 rebounds this game.
Yeah, of course. That average of 18 is going to drop, though. You can't have that forever. No, that's an impressive thing. I mean, no question, first half was ugly. Again, they'd forced just the one turnover. I'm looking to see how many they ended up. They forced 4 more. So, you know what? Props to Ohio for only turning it over 5 times on the road. But in the end, it is a dominant win. What's the post-game message from Cal here? It was a bit of a sloppy first half where you're not overly aggressive on the defensive end. Second half looks different, right?
Well, it's always best to learn a lesson from a win. Obviously, you move on. Defensively, they've got to get better. They did a fantastic job on the boards there, coming away with 53 and only limiting Ohio to 17. But how are you going to allow a team to come into Rupp Arena with the pride, tradition, and everything, and line up with you? It doesn't matter who's on the court. It doesn't matter who's against you. Coach Donovan would always say, you're going against a nameless, faceless opponent. We need to bring that energy every single game and do what we do.
No offense to the opponent.
No offense to the opponent. No offense.
All right, let's get it. I'm going to ask Ty Washington, who joins us right now. 20 points, 11 rebounds for Ty. Congratulations on the win. Look, that's what Patrick and I were just talking about, is what was the message? You're up 2 at halftime. Defensively, hadn't really made Ohio very uncomfortable. They were hitting the threes. They weren't turning it over. What was the halftime message from Coach Cal?
Pretty much, just come out, stay aggressive, keep running down the floor. All we've been doing in practice is just, running down, sprinting and stuff. So we knew that they were going to come out and, give us their best punch in the first half. So that's what they did. They hit a lot of threes and all that, but we just knew, they weren't going to be able to do that for the whole 40 minutes if we just kept running and getting into their legs. And that's what we did in the second half.
Ty, obviously a lot of adversity going into the beginning of this game. Shavir, Oscar, Collins into foul trouble. What was your mindset? Obviously, knowing that you have to step up, knowing that you are fully capable. I've followed you. I'm a huge fan of you. But coming into this game and having the career night that you did, what was your mindset with all those hurdles in front of you?
Well, early on, like you said, we faced a little adversity. 2 of our key players, Oscar and, Xavier, we need them a lot on offense and defense. So with them going out the game early, I just knew it was my time to step up. Me and Keon, Keon, the rest of the guys, without those 2, we knew we had to do what we could do. Just fall back on our training. That's what Coach Cal tells us all the time. So as long as we're putting in the work off the court, it's just going to translate to the game. And I just felt like with them 2 being out, I just had to step up big tremendously.
I was going to say, too, you go that kind of a distance on the interior without Tshiebwe. You played almost 19 minutes without him in the first half. I would suspect, Ty, those are somewhat opportunities for you to learn a little bit about your team. What did you learn about your team without the big enforcer on the floor for that long?
Well, we learned that without him, through rebounding, a lot of rebounding being missed. But, without him, actually gets a chance for me to step up, show my rebounding. Had 11 tonight, so, it was a blessing and a curse. we never want Oscar out the game early like that because we need him. But it just showed that, without him, we can still get the job done. This team has a loaded roster, and we got so many guys on this team. So with him coming out early like that, we just had the next man up, and the next man had to be ready for the number to be called.
Stepping up, you're absolutely right. You came away this game with 11 rebounds, being one of the smaller guys on the court. Moving forward, obviously you go forward from this game. You won. Everything's happy. How do you handle success going into this next game? What's the game plan? How are you going to walk forward and keep the momentum going?
No, we may have lost Ty. That's all right. Ty.